Let's begin in oThongathi today, Kwazulu-Natal, where residents face a daunting task to rebuild just weeks after a devastating tornado tore through their community. In his visit to the area earlier this week, new Premier Thami Ntuli committed to fast-tracking the process. Newzroom Afrika's Nobuhle Modise is tracking that story for us, and she joins us now live. Nobuhle, good afternoon. It's great to see you. And that really is the hope, isn't it, that when a disaster like this happens, that as traumatic as the disaster is, the trauma doesn't continue with the rebuilding process.
Indeed, you are correct. Good afternoon, Michelle. And earlier this morning, we spent a better part of the morning at the Magwaveni area, which is the informal settlement area of oThongathi, where we just went around speaking to people to find out how it's been and how they've been managing to rebuild the houses, also the kind of aid that they've been receiving. And obviously, a lot of them just saying, yes, the government departments and some NPOs and, Good Samaritans are doing the best they can to assist us. But at the end of the day, we still have to live with the trauma and we still have to rebuild our lives, and things are not necessarily the same. I mean, I spoke to a woman earlier who managed to rebuild her home with her husband, and she was explaining that they were living in tents and that was making her and her children sick. And then her husband had to make a plan in order to build them a corrugated iron structure where they could at least sleep. She said they lost their furniture, they lost everything. And in that corrugated iron structure, the only thing that was there was mattresses. But she was saying that was much better than sleeping in tents that have been allocated. I mean, right now I'm outside the oThongathi town hall where some of the people have been placed here, and we managed to also we actually bumped into the MEC for social development, the newly elected MEC Balishinga for social development, and they are here with a church just also delivering more aid. And when we were going around Magwaveni as well, we saw that particular area that was designated for the likes of SASA, the likes of Home Affairs and other departments to assist with aid are still there, and people are still queuing up for help, people are still queuing up for food. So things are still the same, and people are not necessarily rebuilding, but they're actually at a point where they don't actually know where to go and what to do, and whoever is coming to assist, they are accepting the help that they're getting. The woman we spoke to was telling us that she couldn't wait for any government department to assist her. Her husband had to make a plan to ensure that herself and her kids are not ill. But like I said, I do have with me the MEC for social development, the newly elected MEC Balishinga, just to speak to her, about some of the aid they are giving. They are here today at the town hall with a church to give out some food items. But at the end of the day, MEC, a lot more still needs to be done.
I agree. A lot more still needs to be done because people were touched and devastated in many ways. Like we were saying, many lost their houses, furniture was destroyed. But what, as the Department of Social Development, we are grateful of, in many times when we have disasters, people will come, make promises and go and not come back. So today we are here. We have partnered with the Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints, who has donated some food hampers, about 1,000 of them, really armor packs that could last you for about 3 months. They will be handed over to the community, and people are queuing for it to say, they need those. We have SASA with us to keep them going, to help them rebuild, because it's not easy. Whilst they have to take care of the physical needs, the food, but also they must rebuild the roof. So we are grateful to everyone who have come together. The eThekwini municipality, Councillor who is here today, is actually here every day to assess and assist where it's necessary.
And MEC, things have to be done on a long-term basis. By the looks of things, people are still trying to figure out where to go to from here, especially those who have lost a lot. This kind of aid that we're seeing here, for example, when I did speak to the church, they said the going long-term is a plan. But is this something that you're seeing from everyone, or are people coming in sporadically, one-time off basis, and that's it?
True, a long-term solution needs to be, looked at. But you will remember that earlier this week, the Premier and the Cabinet were here. So a lot of work has started in that regard through oKhokta to see what other plans are in place. You've said it yourself, we're a new Cabinet. So for the Premier coming here for the first time and all of us, then there's a plan in place to see how the people and where they will be relocated earlier. But basic needs like children going to school, those things are happening now as we speak. The food supply, the SASSA vouchers. But long term, if you look at structures, there is a plan by the KwaZulu-Natal government in place.
Thank you very much. That is newly elected MEC Mbalishinga for Social Development, just speaking to us about why they are here today. And obviously, as she's mentioned, the fact that there are a new cabinet, there are plans that have been put in place to ensure that the aid that is received here is on a long-term scale. And the Premier also on Monday visiting the area as well, so they could come up with plans to assist. And you heard her also speaking about school children. Thankfully, at the moment, schools are still closed, but there will be another challenge when schools open for those kids who have to go back to school, who have lost their school uniform, their books and everything that they used to know, including documents. So a lot still needs to be done in the oThongathi area. A lot more aid is still needed. And people are still very much despondent, saying they don't know what to do. At this point, they are just going wherever they are told to go. For example, like here at the town hall today, where there's food being handed out, you'll find some people here. You'll find some people still at their homes trying to rebuild and trying to find, ways to reach some sort of normalcy from what they knew before.
Absolutely. A really devastating situation there. And let's hope that fast tracking is exactly just that. Let's thank you for your time, Nobuhle Modise, live to us there in oThongathi, KZN.